Howdy folks, welcome to the 3D Sapiens Roadshow. Your host, Dan Davis here. So, kicking back by the California Creek here at Nelder Grove. And I was thinking clothing. Kicking back here with the fall colors. But one thing I had not addressed was the whole clothesline thing, and I've kind of finally got that down. Let me grab my notes here so I don't forget. Too much stuff happening. Okay, so like anything fabric I'm going to talk about, for example, right now, I used to have a welcome mat. Well, I still do, but it's much easier as a welcome mat, a towel. It's more malleable. In other words, I can use it for other things like holding Owl up during the day. But when I get in, that's my welcome mat. Shoes under the car to keep them out of the sap, my warm shoes for the evening, and my skate shoes for hiking and collecting cans and skateboarding. And then the ones I have on, these loafers, they started out very uncomfortable, but after wearing them, they're pretty casual now. So they're kind of like moccasins. They're thin and whatever. So okay, now mostly I'm going to be talking about the clothesline, however. Let me put this down over here pour le moment, comme dit en français. Meanwhile, we have in the background, check out the colors. Okay, so the clothesline idea. Now, you don't want to wash a lot of clothes. When you are on the road, you don't want to have to be going to the laundrette or stop by somebody's house or whatever, do clothes all the time. And you don't really need to when you think about most of the clothes you only wear for a few hours at a time. And if you don't get them all icky, you can air them out and they're good. So, I've devised kind of this little system. It starts with the clothesline itself, which I'll be talking about the details of everything, but let me talk about the pieces real quick. Okay, so there's the clothesline, there's the tarp. This could be bigger, but I don't want the clothes smelling like tarp. It's mostly just if something falls on them, like sap falls from these trees around here, occasional few drops of rain, that's one thing. If it looks like a lot of rain, I'm just going to take the thing down and put it inside. So I'm not going to have to worry about like covering it all up anyway. So just enough to keep stuff off, dust. Over at the Goat Meadow campsite during the Ferguson fire, one of the things that was keeping off the clothes was all the ash that was falling out. So anyway, there's an inner liner that's kind of like more clean, and then the outer liner that can also be used. I use the tarp for other things as well. So, clothespins, and I've got more in the bag that goes with this thing, which is right here. There's extra of the broken hangers, which have a purpose. I will talk about that in a minute. But everything goes in here. And all these hangers that you see here, okay, let me flip this back now. Okay, so all these hangers that you see here, I stack them all together and then just wrap the cord around them, just, kind of looping like this around the hanger part. And you notice the little green carabiner up there, I make a loop with that, that's how it's connected there. On the other end, it wasn't quite long enough, so I had to extend it. I looped it around. There's another carabiner there. This is, and this loops through an extra piece of fabric, just as an extension, okay, to get it around this tree. But whatever, you can devise it however you want. Now, one of the main things, though, about this is notice the loops, okay, that all these hangers are in. Because if you just put hangers, anybody who's dried clothes, put hangers outside on anything, they bounce around and they fall down. So you need to have them in loops. And so I put about every 6 inches or so. The line itself, by the way, is actual paracord. That's what this yellow thing is right here. Pegasus. The last time that I jumped that parachute, this came from a parachute, my first Ram Air, the 7-cell, square, rectangular, whatever you want to call them, parachute. Last time I jumped it, opened up, big 8-foot rip right down the center cell, and I'm like, looking up going, rip, and then down at my chest, rip cord, cut away, rip, Ripcord, cutaway, ripcord, cutaway. But I noticed I wasn't sinking much slower than anybody else, so because I opened up near some other people, so I just wrote it in, and it was fine. But obviously, I wasn't going to jump it anymore. And you don't want to fix an old parachute. It's kind of like, don't bother. So what do you do? I know what you do with an old horse, but what do you do with an old Pegasus? Well, you cannibalize it. So I've got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of paracord. Anyway, so, okay, back to the clothesline. So the other couple parts of the system, the dirty clothes bags, which I just throw in the washer themselves. This one is for colored stuff, and this is for white stuff. All right, what else? Clothespins I mentioned. These two bags, shopping bags, these hold pretty much all this clothes that's out here because, see, most of my clothes, the extra clothes, I'm going to put it in backpacks, which I will talk about. Here's one right here, the one that I keep handy all the time because it has socks and underwear, which gets changed more frequently. But all my clothes are divided up into little backpacks now. It seems to be the easiest way. If I was going to go long trips, I'd take a duffel bag, big one, or a suitcase, something like that. But for these short trips that I'm doing around Oakhurst right now, I don't really need it. So, but this stuff here, when I wash it, for example, I know that it's going to go right back on me as soon as I come out. So there's no point in stowing it. So I put it in these shopping bags, which can also be washed. In fact, there's a couple clean things there that I haven't got to that I might need accessible, so I keep them there. Otherwise, okay, so let's go through this stuff real quick. So thick socks for hiking and also for night, and I'm getting to the point where I sleep in these things because they're nice and toasty, they're very warm. This is kind of like my pajamas. Hoodie, which I put on, and the sweatpants and long johns I wear to bed. That's kind of like my pajamas. This hoodie is kind of like I have it on when I'm outside. This is more of an inside. I don't want to get it dirty. This one is outside. It'll tend to get all messy. Below that is one layer of sweatshirt, then a long shirt, and at that point, usually I put just a tank top, which is why I don't have these short sleeve things on. But there are days when I might change and just have a short sleeve something on. But like, for example, right now, if you look under my cow pie shirt here, notice the tank top? That's the tank top that I'm wearing and kind of goes with the whole outfit right now. All right. And then there's a couple extra hangers, like for the clothes that I have on right now, the upper clothes and whatnot. Okay, on a carabiner, a couple shirts that are decent, not wrinkled, like if I need to go someplace and act more human or whatever. Very nice, clean tank top. And then again, this gets packed separately last. I mean, it gets clipped into the door handle thingy last, so it doesn't get wrinkled. All this other stuff, by the time I leave here, obviously is going to be dirty. When I come back out, it'll be in those bags. So, there's the whole system. And the clothesline also works as a clothesline. Like, so for example, when I'm at a friend's house doing laundry and he has no electric dryer, what do? You use a clothesline, which is yee-haw not. But whatever, it works. So this thing also doubles as an actual clothesline. Now the third purpose, which I'm going to finish this little segment with today, it can also be a fronting for a little play time. If you have kids, you can take this little concept and go to town with it. But being here by myself and just me, myself, and I, because nobody loves me. Anyway, so I'm not going to go too crazy here with things, but let's check my notes here real quick. So you could take this little comedy routine to pretty extreme ends if you wanted to, but let me set this up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, ideally, you would have puppets or at least socks, which, living on the road, socks go out and you don't want to buy more. Well, nowadays they're too messed up anyway, so you can't really fix them. Once they start going, they're gone. Okay, so call this a backdrop for the stage, starring right hand, left hand, and Dan. Chewie! Chewbacca! Chewie! Get your hairy butt back to the Falcon, now! Right hand, what are you doing? I'm being hand solo. Ah! Oh! Ah! Hey, just because you're the dominant hand doesn't mean you get to have all the fun. Thank you. Okay, so there's my little attempt at comedy. But if you have kids and an imagination, like I said, you can take that whole concept to town. But again, all that little system right there fits into the white bag at the end there by the yellow thing. Except for the tarp, I pack that separately because I use it for other things. And then the other two shopping bags, which I put, again, clothes that have been washed. But otherwise, thanks again for tuning in to the 3D Sapiens Roadshow. Hope to see you out here on the road, because once you get all these little problems down, you know, like with just the basics of life, it's not so bad. Because a lot of people, what happens is they go camping and there's just so much work to do and it's all these chores and it's just work. And so it gets tiring. But if you work out these little systems like this, just with what I've got here, I can be on the road for weeks. You know, just a little bit more food and water on occasion, and I'm good. Stop by laundrette every 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm good. So, anyway, you could be out here too, and it's worth it. You'll see in my health books and presentations and whatnot. There's so many benefits health-wise and spiritually and creatively and so on. Anyway, hope to see you out here sometime. Adios. Have a great day.